Hello. I'm here. I was so close to canceling the stream, but I didn't. I'm terrible. I just this is the life of being chronically ill. I have problems every day with just not feeling right. And I was like, I don't want to cancel stream. I don't want to do that. So I didn't. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a little stream. If I stream for an hour, I stream for an hour. I'd rather stream for an hour than not stream. Okay. So we're gonna see how this goes, but I do feel very sick. I'm not gonna lie. I've not felt right for like 2 weeks. Which is why last week's streams didn't go very well. But I'm trying my best. I ate so that I could stream. So hopefully you appreciate it. Because I didn't feel good eating food. I'm not gonna lie. Les, hello. I haven't seen you in such a long time. It's been so long. I know. How have you been? Hopefully you've been better than I have. Yeah. I'm glad. I streamed. I'm streaming. But I'm not feeling too great. I don't really know what's causing it. So I can't really do anything about it. But we'll see. It could be a normal stream. It's probably not going to be, but you know. You're in a relationship. Let's go. Been focusing on a lot later. That's so good. Congrats, I guess. Congrats. Did it. Nice. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Positivity to start off the stream. I saw something. I don't know if it's true, but someone said they were new plushies at the Maji market. Does anyone know if that's true? I don't know if it's true. I don't know if they're lying. I wouldn't expect this person to be lying, but I know. Ooh, I have no idea. Yeah. There is. Oh, there is. Guys, if we're live for an hour, it's going to be Maji Market. Okay. So I'm not going to like sit here for 50 minutes like I normally would and talk a lot. We are going to go into the game. Because otherwise, you guys might not get too much of me playing. And I don't want that. So it's currently 4 a.m. I haven't forgotten what time that the market is on. Is it 6 p.m. till when? 6 until 3. Okay. 6 until 3. Go for it. Haven't played in a while. You haven't played in a while? How long has it been since you played? Typically, I only play when I'm on stream these days, but luckily I haven't taken a break or anything. 2 weeks? Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Could be a lot more. I've definitely had a break about a week or so long before. It's always nice to take a break from something you enjoy. Because I feel like if you don't, you're like constantly like overstimulated in a sense to the game. The game becomes overwhelming, that's the word. You become overwhelmed and you almost despise the game. Since the new Shark update. Oh wow, it's been a while then. Just got on this wine to clean up storage. When you don't play PALIA for a little while, there's always problems with storage and your crafters being full. So it's always mayhem. This is literally me from Monday, and that is it. And yeah, it's a mess, so. Okay, we're gonna go check the plants before the sun comes up. And then when it gets to 6 p.m, we'll go to Maji Market and go and see if there are any new plushies, because apparently there are. I haven't seen an official thing to do with it. I just saw like a tweet And then I went on Twitch just now and saw like a bunch of people with it in a title. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see. I haven't seen them though. I haven't seen anything about it. So I'm very confused as to why. Why the game would be like, oh, yeah, new plushies, but we're not going to tell you about it. It's a little odd. I'm not sure it's a good strategy for marketing, but hey. I don't know what we'll do until the market though. That is the problem. Not too sure. I mean, honestly, we can clean all of this up and then we'll probably head on to doing maybe some little quest stuff. Probably just try and look for the black pearl while we wait. Because that's obviously something we need to do. I last left it with like 10k iron arrows, but then stopped playing. 10k iron arrows. Wow. I made quite a few. And then I was like, okay, we're going to make a bunch of ammo. And then I have to grind again for the materials. Right? Oh my god, what is this head doing? Oh no. I made a bunch of them and I was like, we have to grind for materials. And now I kind of regret it. I was like, no, it's probably a good thing. Like, I miss the grind for materials. No. I kind of hate the fact that I did that to myself. But, you know, the material grind isn't the worst thing ever. And it's like the one thing you can do in the game if you have nothing else to do, so. You know what? Why not? Okay, I think that is everything. And now we can sell all of that. I don't think we have anything else to sell from last stream. What did we do at the end of stream? Oh, we went to the underground. Failed terribly as well. It's not fun buying everything. I was buying everything and then the frog thing happened and I got too much money and everything. Just I used all the money for like materials and everything. And then I felt bad because then I had nothing to do essentially and it kind of became a bit of a problem. So I decided to stop. And then when we stopped with that, I think we're done with all that. We'll wait for the flowers. Flowers? Wait for the plants. I basically decided I'm not buying stuff like that if I don't need to. Right? Like if I want to build something super quick or I'm seriously never going to have enough of the material, fine. But if like I can just spend a little bit of time chilling and just grinding for the materials a bit, why not? You know? Why not? I got a dumb amount of money from cooking parties. Oh god. I haven't done cooking parties in so long. It's been a long, long time. I think the last one I did was like 2 months ago, actually. Or was it? Was it 2 months ago? It was just before Elderwood. Just before Elderwood. 2 or 3 months ago now. Quite a while ago. I just feel like the one way I can make money to be happy is like, and like have fun with it, is if I do like hunting and then like doing like my plants and turning them into other stuff. Like if I do hunting, I can turn the meat into glowworms. I can turn the fur and stuff into leather, and it's like, I don't know. It seems to it just makes more sense to me. I always found it very boring doing cooking. I'm not a big fan. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan. But then I tried the cooking parties, and my problem with the cooking parties was I always kind of fell asleep. And when I say fell asleep, I don't mean like I full on fell asleep, but my eyes would be closing. So I would end up messing it up for everyone else. Or I just genuinely was like distracted. But yeah, what are we on now? We seem to be around this number the whole time. Ooh, I didn't see that. We seem to be around that number a lot. I don't seem to be moving up or down. But I can work with it. It's more fun to hunt. I do it because I have friends. Yeah, with friends, yeah. We hunt a lot. I feel like that's the one thing, if I do anything with anyone on stream, it's hunting. We tried to get like Mugen the other day to try and find essence, but it just didn't go very well. But also, I wanted to do something. And I don't know how. The companion, the like gold art up quest, like I don't know how to find it. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure if I've gotten to that point because I haven't done like these two quests yet. I don't know if that like makes it like a thing. Do I have to do this before it pops up? Hello. It's closing time. Hello. How did your day go? Your night go? I showed my mum the videos, but I kind of assumed they were going to be quite loud. So we were in the pub. I didn't think it was a good place to put the volume on. Always needs essence for nameplates. I'm not too bothered about nameplates. I have the frog one. The frog one, so I'm not too bothered by them. The one thing I am bothered by is the fact that I don't know how to find this quest. And if we can find it, we could start it. And then we can do that while we wait for the Maji market. Best time of my life, I should have definitely put an ear warning. Oh, maybe. How are your ears actually? And your throat? Can you speak and hear at all? I know when I went to my first concert, I came out of the concert not being able to hear a thing and I couldn't speak for like 3 days. So 2 more nights for this on Friday and Saturday. You're gonna feel rough. I feel rough right now and I haven't been to a concert, so. Surprised I could still talk? Oh god. I mean, you did look like you were shouting in the videos. Honestly, no matter what you do at a concert, you're gonna end up like that. How do we do... Where is it? This. Courier pet. Courier pet. I want to do a quest for it. Courier pet. PALIA. Quest. I forgot what quest you need for companion. Yeah. I'm trying to find it. I just don't know where to find it. Home and back again. Oh, here we go. This is it. Okay. It says... Oh. Nature of the shadows. Okay. So we can see if I have that then. I'll try. Oh, I disappointed your mum by not taking a fit pic. I'll try my best to do on the weekend for her. Okay. I'll let her know. She was like, wait, he didn't take a picture. He hasn't uploaded anything. She was so disappointed. I know Tamale is part of it a lot. Maybe just check the goo central stables. Like here? Whereabouts? Because I could have sworn I had already done the goo thing. Wait, we found a flower. Didn't even know that was there. I could have sworn. Oh! Did I do it? I already did that though. Is it because I did it for a quest? I did it on like the first day and I don't think it was available yet. I spent £350. 350. You bought everything. You have no self-control. As long as it was, you know, doesn't matter really. Like, you earned the money. Like, do what you want, you know? Like, it's your money, but... That is insane. The most I've spent on one item of merch was my folklore cardigan, I believe. And that's because it was, like, impossible to get. And every time she brings out a new cardigan, like, the folklore one itself is the hardest cardigan to get. So I had to get it when it came out, like, the 8th time. I was like, I don't care how much it is. It was like £80 for reference. But I love it. I love it so much. Check it out now. Yeah, I will. Where is she? This way. This month I have spent 2.5. How do you have 2.5? How do you have that kind of money? Jeez. You're living the life. As long as you had fun, and you'll enjoy it, I'm not gonna judge you too hard. Don't worry. Just a baller in it. Love that for you. Every time I see your face new, I feel like I'm meeting for the first time. You bought 2 more jelly carts. What are they? If I had unlimited money, I would have every blind box of anything remotely that I found cute ever. I would buy them all whenever I saw them and open them all just at once because I don't understand how some people can buy them and they don't open them. They just sit them there and they just don't open them yet. And then I'd buy every single plushie I could find. I forgot about them again. I got 2 little blind box like bags last night and they're tiny. They're like this tiny. But one's a cupcake and one's like a thing of like a box of fries, but they're like animals dressed up as them and they're just so cute. Dragon and a seagull. You got the dragon? Is it like the really like cute green one? I need that one. And like my guy, Sammy. Sammy the seagull. Also, I don't know why my camera does that like thing where it gets like stuck slightly for a second. I have to unplug it to stop that from happening and I couldn't be bothered before stream. So, apologies. Oh my god. I love him. I walked around Scarborough for like 5 hours until I decided I would buy one instead of trying to win him. It's great. I'll send you a picture of Jellicats when I'm home. Do, please. Oh my god. I remember we went into York and we went to a shop that had a load of them in. It wasn't an official shop or anything, but it stocked so many of them. And my mum was like, £50. They're expensive. You play ukulele? No. Guitar. This is a guitar. It's a real cute guitar as well. It's so freaking cute. My mum spent a good amount of time trying to get it up for me because the thing you hang on, I don't want to talk about it. It was ridiculous, but it's up there now. I used to play guitar when I was like 11. I'm a Swiftie. You can't. It's a canon event. But I never played it correctly. I could only play basic chords, and I could never strum properly or anything. Like, it was awful. And then I quit, and I got rid of my guitar because I was like, I physically couldn't get around the idea of my health letting me even play guitar anymore. Then one night, I got really sad, and I was like, do you know what I want to do? I want to play guitar. So I ordered a guitar, and now I can play it properly. To some extent. I'm still a beginner, okay? Might have played for like 10 years, but I'm still a beginner. How have I never known that? I must have mentioned it at some point. It's probably because I didn't play much since I've known you, because that's why I got rid of it. This one isn't budget, but it's also not very expensive for a guitar. It was 150 quid, I think. Nearly £200. But it still seems somewhat budget. But it's really, it's so beautiful. I love it. Yeah, I've been learning it. My fingers, you know the WASD key fingers? These 3? They hurt. It goes elastic. That's why I bought it. My mum's got a blue one and I got a green one because her room's blue now and my room's obviously green. It matches Frogbert so well. And my mushroom here. So perfect. Like, but yeah. We both decided. I got one late at night at like 1 a.m, 2 a.m. And then she, the next day, was like, I want one. I want to learn. She's doing really good as well. So, a matcha girl. I love matcha. I love matcha. You got it right. Okay, let's do this quest. Okay. Okay, so... Oh, what a shocker. I love matcha. You can probably guess like all of my favorite things just based off like my aesthetic. I'm not gonna lie, you probably could. They're predictable in that way. Okay. Do we hate Tamala or do we like her? Because I used to like her and I'm beginning to hate her. Don't worry your cute little head about it. I am cute and curious. Yeah, I know as much as you do. I doubt that you've been running around solving other mysteries. I've been quite focused lately. Still, I suppose you have been rather helpful in the past. I was evacuating some human ruins from the south when I discovered this object. Unfortunately, the echo possessing it is so concentrated that I have not been able to discern what exactly is at its core. Based on what you discovered from the Order Alchemist, we can assure it has some sort of sentiments. Sentiment curses tend to be the most dangerous. It's a curse? Mushrooms in your background are a hint to tell people you love mushrooms, especially the mushroom nuggets. I actually wanted to buy turkey dinosaur plushies the other day. Like, every time I go to TK Maxx, they have these plushies that are like turkey dinosaurs. And I can look at them as being corn. Okay. I should probably do it. Put them like somewhere. Honestly, I had all of this stuff was already in my room before I started streaming. It's not just like a stream thing. The only difference with my room is that these are normally on my bed. But when I stream, I put them there so you guys don't have to look at nothing. Because there is nothing in the background otherwise. Quite fascinating, actually. The art of hexamancy is ancient and quite misunderstood. You've had some experience with it. Breast cooking. You must be delighted in the classroom. I love to see you toe to toe with Clary. Oh god. But we both know I meant that little present I gave you in the kids. Yeah, I know. I remember. You'd have to remind me about it. Before you get too worked up, that curse is relatively harmless. Curses are not inherently negative. You can think of them more like commands. Much like how Flo can be commanded to obey the Runecaster's directives, the curse bearer is compelled to obey the will of the Hexamancer. I won't bore you with the details, but I have reason to believe Echo is connected to Hexamancy. The effects of Echo infection mirror a curse almost exactly. The difference is that instead of a Hexamancer's will becoming the source of the curse, Echo has something else powering it. This is going over my head, okay? I'm gonna put that out there. I'm reading this, but it's going over my head. I don't know what she just said. You need to bring back the keyboard cam because your desk is so clean. I have stains on my mouse pad. Also, my mouse pad, I didn't realize was AI. So I'm kind of ashamed, but this is the desk. It doesn't look that good. Like, did I ruin the camera? So yeah, I won't be doing that. I don't think there's a cause to do that unless I was to play like Fortnite, because the reason why people do hand cams with games like Fortnite and stuff is because they want to see like how you're playing. But with like PALIA, I'm like, oh, look at my keyboard cam. I don't know about that. And maybe even if like I just don't feel good enough to stream with my face, it could happen. It could happen. But I have food stains all over this thing. It definitely looks nicer than it used to look though. I remember it used to look kind of... It was not as nice when I did keyboard cam. It was kind of ugly because I had like a pink setup back then. Me. No. Do you remember doing your first ever face reveal? No, because I instantly started streaming with a face cam, I think. Yeah, I think anytime I've streamed, I've done a face cam, except for a mobile. So technically my first Twitch stream on my other account was the first time I revealed my face. But I had a profile picture on mobile when I streamed on there, so... I never hid my face. It's weird, actually. I'm the kind of person you would think would not actually have a face cam. I could have been a VTuber. I remember the Bob days. That was so long ago. Look how long my hair is now. Okay? My hair was like this short. My bangs are as short as what my hair used to be. Since I can see your eyes glazing over, I shall fight for you. See? She understands that I wasn't listening to what she said. She gets it. Not that smart girl. Touch that object without proper protection and preparation, and the effects are sure to be as devastating as they are fascinating. I'm fond of you, darling, so I'd like us both to avoid that little scenario. She actually wants to protect me, but I didn't think she liked me. When you were talking about Endgame, oh god. Oh no. That was a time. That was like peak COVID. The blue eye makeup, the eyeliner, the dark hair, the bob, the outfit. Oh god. That is not me. I am not her. She is not me. Yeah, what about the staff? I keep forgetting about that. In the future to get your hands in it, I imagine a resulting blast of energy will destroy whatever is at the cursor's core. This requires a more delicate touch. How can I help? If you're set on offering your assistance, you'll need a way to prove you know your way around magical artifacts. Well, I definitely do because I finished them. I've no use for an assistant that lacks even the quisities. I don't know how to say that word. I hear Eloisa is working on some amusing relics that might fit the bill. Like the amulet. One interesting little amulet. I can sense the power inside. Perhaps I've underestimated Eloisa. Or perhaps Kalari helped her make something that actually functions. I know which one seems more likely. But it's still weak. This is acceptable work for a beginner, but I expect to see something a little more advanced from my partners. Come back when it has a little more power. I think I got the power.
Back to the toil and trouble.
I just completed like 5 quests without doing anything. That's really funny. I'm glad you guys made me do the relics and everything because I just completed the quest. Oh god, no. That clip haunts me every day. And the thing is, back then, I hadn't even really watched any, like, Marvel, Avenger, like, stuff. So I had no idea what I was saying. I'm still that girl in that sense. I want to look like her, but I am. Thank you. Okay. What time is it though? Hang on. Can I now leave? Okay, well, I'll see what time it is after this because I want to go to the market. Okay. Bag of Illusion or the Idol. Idol. This allows you to detect the presence of echo nearby. I'm impressed that Louisa managed to attune it delicately enough to not react to everything in the old wood. Which means Kalari likely helped her with it. If only woman of a talent wasn't so preoccupied by the appearance of conformity. And you are a talent, little thing. Me? Oh, me? Nah. Before you cleanse Curse itself, we'll need to craft a nullification charm. This should protect you long enough to approach and set up the ritual. I have to wear it. Yeah. She's a fatty. I love her, but I hate her too. She gives me Mother Gothel from Tangled vibes, which obviously I despise I despise Mother Gothel. But she's a witch. How can I not like her too? I have a love-hate relationship. Oh. Yeah. Here are the greens that I'll need. When you have them all, return them to me and we'll begin.
Don't be a stranger.
Okay, we're gonna go back home and see if I have these. Because if I have them, I'm not searching for them. And what time is it? It's 25 to IRL. And then we have like 10 minutes. And then we're gonna go do the claw machine. I don't know how to even get the claw machine coins. I do not remember. But we're gonna try. Okay, we need Soon tofu. Do I have that? Ew. I don't have it. Can I buy it? I don't want to make it. Floatfish. Elderwood, floatfish. Toadstool. Do I not have any of them? Midnight. Oh wait, midnight. Midnight. No? Oh my god. This is why you don't stream when you're ill. No hot pot today? No. There are apparently new things in the Maji markets. Like, you know, like the claw machines? They have a claw machine there and you can get these cute little plushies like what are they called? Do I have any in here or are they all out? Oh, I have them all out. But they're like so cute. They're like little mushrooms and like carrots and like random like food items, but I don't think I don't know what there's new stuff. Apparently there's new stuff. You don't know the claw machine personally? Of course not. Of course not. My god. Okay, we have one elderflower. Hey, Fixie. We need 3 of them. So we're gonna leave these here because I don't have the other stuff. But we're gonna open these. Did I get a new one? Was that, did that mean it was new? Or did I get a repeat? No, I got a repeat. Excuse me, I've been a COD man for the past 2 weeks. I bailed for 3 hours. You've been playing 3 hours minimum. How do you have 3 hours in your day? Look at this. How cute. Hello? She called Priscilla. She's so cute. I love it. I love it. I love it. Just oh my god. Have you not been sleeping? I have this feeling you've not been sleeping. For the boys. For the boys. Pump in. Okay. We're gonna go... Wait, can I make this tofu really quick? I sleep, I show you, listen to the wise words of Kissy to hydrate and sleep to worry. You gotta make sure you're sleeping. Sleep is so important. I didn't realize how important sleep really was until it started to affect me. And then it became a problem. Oh, we can make this. This isn't difficult. Yeah. It affected me really bad, and then I started sleeping better, and I don't feel great, but it definitely helped. In many ways. I felt 3 times worse than I do now, I think I'd say. Even though I sleep for 8 to 10 hours, and I still feel like absolute crap. So, how about hydrate while I'm sleeping? What's your advice on that? Maybe don't do that. You might choke on the water and that would be fatal, right? I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe not. Maybe don't do that. I am gonna have to be a little bit more strict, I think, today with going to bed on time, though. Because I don't feel too good. Dude. Seriously though, like, I actually don't feel like 100%. I have no idea what is going on. I don't know if it's like a flare-up or like if I'm actually ill. I'm kind of hoping it's the first and not the second, because I'd rather have a flare-up than be ill. Which to some people that sounds ridiculous. If you are chronically yourself, you will know what I mean. You'll be like, oh yeah, I get it. Like, otherwise you have no idea what I'm talking about. Don't tell me you're feeling lethargic, because that's the worst. I feel sick, dizzy. I'm getting like pins and needles in like my fingers. Like these fingers, I understand from playing guitar, like they're a bit numb. That's normal, but this hand has no reason to be numb. I don't know what's going on. We went to the cinema last night, and the thing is, I've been feeling this way, like really tired and sick and just like completely out of it for like 2 weeks, but really bad this last week. And last night, obviously, I ate like a bunch of food, but it happened before that. So like you would think if it was going to be a problem because of eating food I ate last night, then it'd be just like today, but I felt like this 2 weeks before I even ate the food, so it's not the food, it's me. What did you watch? I want you to guess what I watched. I want you to guess. Where are the new ones? Are these not ones we've already had before? Have we not already had these before? Or am I crazy? I swear there are no new ones in there. Actually, I'm gonna go back home because I think I have at least 1 or 2 tokens. Superman? How did you guess that? How did you guess that? Is it because it's like the only new film that's remotely worth watching? Or that I would watch at least? I'll tell you how the interaction with my mum went when we were like at the cinema last month. What did we go see? Was it Lilo and Stitch? And the trailer came on. I'll tell you the interaction as to why we decided to go and watch it. It quite literally went like this. I can't, this is so cringe. I literally was like, oh, hot guy, cute dog. I'll watch Superman for the first time. I'm not kidding. I truly was like, oh. But it was a good film. I liked it. I liked it. Not just for Superman himself. Did you go there after the... But yes, we went to eat at like a pub just because there's not really many places to eat by me without traveling. And I'm just like, we go to the same place pretty much every time. So we went there and then we just went to the cinema and I ate like a bunch of food. But I felt so sick that I couldn't even eat all of it until this morning. And I felt sick this morning, so I had to just finish it off because I didn't want it sat there. Because I don't like eating like sugary food all the time. So I was kind of just like, I'll finish eating it. But it really didn't help the way I'm feeling at all. I'm not gonna lie. It did not help. I watched it in IMAX and it was so good. It was good. I liked it. I know some people have said things that they didn't like it, but you know. Your mom's little photo of your pub food. I was like, why are you taking a picture of it now? Like, we've just finished eating. We hadn't eaten for like 5 minutes. And I was like, she got my like hands in the picture too. So, great one. It's the fact it was all gone. Oh my god, the frog. The fact it was all gone. Yeah, because we just finished eating. And she was like, I'm gonna take a picture and put it on Instagram. Like, oh my god. Are these not new? I'm happy I got the frog, don't even get me wrong. But these don't look new. Am I doing the wrong thing? Because I know the rest of this is normally just like the same stuff again and again. That didn't look like it was... Doesn't look like it was anything new. Okay, I need to look closer. They look like the same thing. I feel like there's nothing new in this. Is this a joke or is it just like one new one? That was so funny. Yeah, I said to her like, why are we taking a picture of it now? She was like, oh, how do I put a story on? And she kept like swiping to her messages instead of swiping to the story. And I was just like, I love it. I really don't know what we're supposed to do to get a new one. I'm gonna have a little look online. PALIA, Maji Market. New. Where, like... Where did it say there were new plushies? I'm very confused. Because there's nothing about... There's nothing. Did I miss it? Was it while I was at the cinema yesterday? Is that like where it's supposed to be? Maybe. No. Where are these new... Everyone is saying that there are new plushies in the claw machine. I feel like I'm going insane. Okay. Someone is grinding the claw machine. So, like, yeah, there are. And then someone said new plushies in the claw machine. New claw machine plushies. Everyone is talking about new plushies. And I can't tell what's supposed to be new because I don't think this frog is new. I think I had like 2 or 3 of them because it was called Little Froggy, I remember. Little Sernuk. So these are not new. Why can't I read that?
Got any new goods for me? Gotta get back.
Why can't I read the sign? Zeki, why can't I read the sign? Okay, well, let me read it. I have no idea how I'm supposed to get coins because I completely forgot. How do I win them? I feel like, do I need to buy them? Is that a thing? Do we buy them? Do we earn them? I have absolutely no idea. I do not remember. It's been such a long time since I came to the market. I have no clue. Is there just like one? Because everyone's saying plushies with an S. And something tells me I've been lied to. Can you tell me something? Do I get them from doing something? I gotta look this up, it's been too long. Okay, we do... Purchase an item for at least 6,000. Okay, where's the one? This one. So we have to do all this just to get 1 coin? I have to spend 6,000 tickets to get 1 coin. That is a rip-off. An absolute rip-off. And there's like, what, 2 or 3 games? 2 games. Is it 2? There's the chapter chase, and then there's a balloon one. Is there something else we can do as well? I don't remember. Is my bot not turned on? No way. Why are my commands not working? I'm not even logged in. I'm not even logged into Streamlabs. Cloudbot. Oh, Cloudbot's on. Oh, I'm sorry. My alerts are not working. But hello there, DJ. We've had a good day so far. Balloons and Chapter and After Home. So, how many tickets can we get? That's what I want to know. Because if I need 6,000 tickets to spend them to get 1 claw machine token, I now regret not doing more. You can get 2k tickets per market. Oh, that sucks. That's not a lot. I was expecting like maybe 4 or 5k. I don't know. I haven't come to the market in like months because I didn't need to. because there was nothing new, and now apparently there's new claw machine plushies. I don't even know what they look like. I don't know where the information came from, but apparently they are. Bad days around 1.5. Oh, that sounds like such a grind. Like, let me have a look on PALIA group and see if anyone put anything on about them. I have still yet to see. I've still yet to see. Oh. Yeah, that was wrong. I have no idea. I don't know what they are. Basically, absolutely no one has given the source of information that provides us with proof that there are new plushies in the game at all. I feel like I'm being lied to. Is this a big joke? It's a grind for sure. It sounds like it would take me 4 or 5 hours of playing just to get 2 tokens. Focus on blue and brown balloons to get... Okay, blue and brown. You can get tokens from any purchase. It's not a guarantee. Oh, thank you. So if I spend any of my tokens, there's a chance, but it's like way less of a chance if I don't spend 6k. Got it. So I can still get them. So we'll just probably spend whatever I have, if I can. I don't even know what we can buy for less than, like, 4k. Chopper, you could just catch one chopper and go AFK. Oh. You need the turnip. The claw machine is bugged. Wait, you need the turnip for the new plushies because it's bugged? If you pull turnip, you pull all 3? I definitely feel like I've gotten all of them before. That's why I've never come back. So, like, wait, if I just do 1, I should get all 3, or is it like you automatically get all 3 in like 3 goes? Or does the game just like give me 3? I don't think it does that. You probably say it meaning it's like for 1 turn you could get all new ones. Oh, that sounds mad. But yeah, I've definitely got the turnip because I've gotten all of them. I didn't come back to the market since like January because I haven't needed to. I haven't needed to come back. And now I feel like I've missed out because I could have had a bunch, an absolute bunch of tickets, and I have like none. So that kind of sucks. Oh wow. Okay, they've increased this. There's definitely a lot more than there used to be. I don't remember there being this much. But it has been like 5 months since I last played, so... And it's still as stressful as ever. Like, why is this so stressful? This is supposed to be a cozy game. I feel stressed. Like I'm missing them. They're right in front of me as well. I always miss the big blue ones, even though they're so obvious. 3 tickets. 3 tickets for 1 balloon is insane. Oh, I missed that one. I'm just hoping we can try and get a decent amount. Because I only have like 1.2k right now. Which is not a lot. It is not a lot. Okay, we only got 253, 681. That sucks. Tony, hello. We're at the market because apparently there's new plushies that I did not know about. It's what Sam normally have more players shooting. Really? Okay. I honestly thought it looked like there was a little bit more there. But we're just here because I want the new plushies and I didn't even know about it. So from the claw machines, yes. Do you have a source that tells us what they look like, what they are, and like how we found this out? Because I've looked on Instagram, Twitter, and Discord and everything. No mention. I don't know where this information came from. Is it an accident? Did they add it in an accident? Or is it like genuine? Because I have no idea. And I don't see new ones. Like, I swear these are all old ones. So I feel like I'm going crazy. Anyone has the source that lets us know. Patch 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago! Excuse me. Hang on, maybe I could just look on here and see. No, let me have a look. I probably read the patch notes too and saw it, and yeah, didn't say anything. Market is just one sort. Yeah. Was just gonna say I'm sure it was in the patch notes, so wait for them to appear. Okay, I did not see that. I probably read it but didn't see it. So is it the Solist Bloom one? Or is it the Radiance Rising one, which 3 weeks ago? The last one. Let me see. Did they say all of them, or did they just show like a couple of them? Or did we just get told what they were? Because by the looks of it, there are no mentions of pictures. I have no idea. Where is it? I don't see it. Oh, claw machine. So how maybe you. Oh, the Slumber. Oh, those ones. The Slumber plush, Fox plush. The Truffle plush and the Cutesy cat. Okay, cool. I was very confused. I was like, hang on. It had been them ones, but it is, apparently. So I'm gonna just snooze ads for now. Once, at least. Perhaps you read them with a blindfold on. I read a lot of the times, and I just don't take the information in. That's my problem. Which, obviously, is not good. But, you know, I'm not feeling very well today, so maybe I just forgot. Like I said, I mean, it's been an hour. I've managed to do an hour. I don't know how, but we did. I like getting them and lurking. Thank you for lurking, though. I appreciate it. I'm the same. Yeah, it's terrible, but especially when I'm not feeling well. So I feel kind of like I'm gonna be... I feel a little nauseous, basically. Without putting it too graphic. I feel a little nauseous. So, I'm not feeling great, but I'm here. It's been an hour, so I'm not sure how much longer I'll be live, but... I wanted to do at least one market. And then sort of see how I'm feeling. Oh. I still hate this game mode. What's that noise? There's something rustling. You want points badly. Should bonus turn PM in-game catch one chopper after K if you farm them. Yeah, but I would prefer to like play the game out rather than just like stand here for like 4 minutes and do nothing. I don't know. I feel like that would be so much better. Right? Like, I don't think it'd be fun to just kind of like sit here. I get it. Yeah. I feel like you can do that if you're doing something else while you've got the game up. But that just doesn't sound as fun. So like, I'll run around like a madman. And then... we'll see how I'm feeling after that, because I still have not felt... I do not feel any better than I did when I started stream. But we'll see. We'll see. If anything, we'll probably just try and do a couple of quests, but the quests I'm trying to do apparently are not the easiest. But I don't know. I don't think I've caught a midnight floatfish before. That I'm aware of. And I cannot for the life of me get another chopper. This guy keeps getting all the choppers. I'm spamming the E button. The E button? The E key. Okay, he's making me feel very dizzy. Just give me a couple more. Why does everyone know it? These people must play this all the time because I haven't played this in forever. I used to be able to get like 15 until they broke it. I think I got like 25 once. Sounds ridiculously insane to do now. But at one point, it was possible. And I missed that because I'm like dying. Oh my god. Yeah, I feel better knowing we streamed at all. That feels a lot better, but... HF Chase, I will just try and catch one and leave it. I like the ability to catch more than one, but these people that are like ghosts are just like drive me insane because they're not actually there. And yet, they seem to pick it up every time. But it's making me feel dizzy because everyone else is catching them by like running around in circles. I'm not gonna lie though, I'm a little bit worried that I might be getting ill. I don't know if anyone can hear it in my voice. But I do sound a little off. I don't know what's going on. Pray for me. Pray for me. I mean, I'm not really doing anything tomorrow. I think we're gonna go get food for the week. And then I'll just try and chill for the rest of the day and see how things go for Friday. Because I don't want to wear myself out tomorrow and then not be able to stream. So I'll try and eat some soup. I don't want to eat anything. But if anything's going to help, it's going to be chicken soup. Okay, how much money do we have? Okay, I'm going to just take my chances and buy one. I'm gonna take the chances. No, it didn't work. It didn't work. Okay. So I don't know what we're gonna do then. We can buy 3 of these. Let's just buy 3 of these. No, but we got a starred one, so it's okay. Yeah, okay. The aim of the stream failed a little bit, not gonna lie. But it's okay. Probably won't be on much next week. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna see... I'm just gonna see how things go. Honestly, like, I'm gonna snooze the ads again just in case I don't feel like I can... Because I'm feeling kind of dizzy with, like, motion. Motion's making the nausea worse. It's on Wednesday next week. Well, I hope everything goes well. I'll be thinking about you guys. I'm gonna put those away. I'll be thinking about you guys. Let's put him here. I like to do this now because I'm like, I never used to care about my plushies, but now I'm kind of a little bit like, I love them, I'm obsessed. And I need to show them off to some extent. That's what I'm looking forward to, but it's got to be done. Honestly, I think, I don't know how to say this in the right way, but I think it might help a lot. It feels kind of like a way to kind of like come to terms with things, I think. It's like, you know, you don't want to go to it 'cause you just don't want it to really happen. But I think it'll help you a lot with like how you've been with it all. So I hope everything does go well. I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. It's an unfortunate thing to have to do, but it also will help a lot. What am I... Okay, what are my medals looking like? I've just realized. Oh, look at those numbers. Okay. I don't want to do bugs because that's going to make me feel sick. So is fishing. And I've done all the rest of them. And every time I move in game... every time I move in game, I feel more sick. This is terrible. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. 2 seconds. Because the game is making me motion sick. Which just isn't very good, is it? Not when I feel like this. So I think I may have to end. I don't want to end at all, but I might have to. I want to send you guys over to someone because I don't want to just like dip completely and be like, yeah, I have no one to watch. And honestly, I think I'm just gonna send you guys over to Teddy because I don't really have energy to stick around. Obviously, that's why I'm ending stream after an hour. But Teddy is lovely. I absolutely love watching her. Definitely recommend. 10 out of 10. And yeah, you need to go look after yourself. I do. Annoyingly, I do. I want to stream. And I love being with you guys. But every time I talk and I move in game, I'm feeling very dizzy and nauseous, and I don't think it's a good mix. I don't think you guys want to see that on stream. So you guys can go look at the cute puppies. The cute puppies. I say puppies, but they're not really puppies, but you know, they're doggos, so you guys can go and look at that. And she's playing PALIA. So you guys can go and chill over there if you like. And I feel better soon. Thank you. I appreciate it. I will try my best to be okay on Friday. If anyone is curious as to like if I am streaming on Friday, do check my Discord because that's gonna be the one place I do say if I am or not. You take care. I'll see you on Friday. I'll be off elsewhere. I'll see you on Friday, Tony. But yeah. I will say goodbye and you know, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And I should see you guys on Friday at 3 p.m. BST. But I will update you guys in Discord if I'm still not feeling very well. So